FRANKENQUAD for line of sight. Here's a little bit of flight footage. It's going to be a couple of parts for the build series, so I hope you enjoy. Hey, so this is the Screech frame kit, and if you've been following me at all, you've noticed that I've kind of gotten focused on line of sight flying lately. It's fun, and I'm waiting for the parts to arrive for a tube frame build, and I got tired of waiting, and so I went looking for something that would work, and this frame works. And so, but you don't have to buy the frame. If you go to multi-rotor replacement parts, you don't want the 6-inch arm, you want two of these and two of these bottom plates, and then if you go to the end, there's this top plate, and then if you go to my cart, you can see that I have those in there now. You can see two of these 5-inch arms, two of these bottom plates, and a top plate, and then I had the rest of the parts to finish the build, which I'm calling Tremolo, which I guess is the sound that screech owls normally make. They rarely screech, they mostly tremolo, so I don't know, whatever, that's what I named it. Right, and here you can see the hardware, and you can take a look at this carbon fiber. It's actually beautiful. And yeah, we'll go through the parts here. Key point is that the screws are 15 millimeters and 10 millimeters. The longer ones are 15 millimeters, and the shorter ones are 10 millimeters. M3 screws. And so this is M3 mounting hardware for the frame, M2 mounting hardware that came with the HGLRC flight controller and ESC combo. I'll put links in the description. This is a XM Plus receiver, standoffs, and honestly, I think I'm going to end up using these just to keep the frame height low enough that the motors will protect the flight controller in a crash. And yeah, these motors I've run on another quad before, and these are the 22 Cobra motors, 2204 1960 kV. So a lower kV, and I'm going to run 4S on this thing, and 4S relatively small batteries, and we'll see. And I kind of want to run 6-inch on it. You can see that the HGLRC is rated for 4S 40 amps, and I think a peak of 50 amps, which, you know, this cap came with the HGLRC stack, and it's rated at 1000 microfarads, 35 volts. Yeah, and I think that about does it for the parts. $26 grams, 25.7. These guys are the 5-inch arms, and they're 5 millimeters thick. 5-inch, 5 millimeters. Sorry, bottom plate, and I'm just using 2 of them. Looks like it's 2 mil carbon. And let's see what it weighs. 3.4. Plate I think is 1 mil. Yep, 1 mil. And weighs 1.7. Gets us at 59.6. We get 69 grams. So that's size and weight. Alright, so next up, let's take a look at this frame itself. And if you look at it, it kind of has a unique feature. That is this keying feature that keys two pieces of carbon fiber together, which I think is kind of a pretty cool feature. Longer ones on the inside, shorter ones on the outside. Alright, now, so I guess the next thing we want to do is let's get a rough measurement of the frame distance. And so if we measure from the center of the motor, to say right here is 150. Oh yeah, we're being super accurate on this deal. And then this guy goes to what, 74. So that gives us what, 234 millimeter motor to motor, and it's a perfect X. Oh shoot. Yeah, it's a perfect X. So just over 150 there. The M2 mounting holes, and this is the 20 by 20 mounting. So this is 20 by 20 here. If you use these holes, it's 20 by 20, and if you use these holes, it's 30 by 30. Let's take a 6-inch prop. Here's a couple of 6-inch props. They're not the best conditioned props ever, but they'll tell us what we want to know. So we're going to have clearance there. We are going to have clearance there. We are going to have clearance there. Right, so we can totally come back in here with the washer. I'm not super keen on how that goes, but well, I mean, honestly, I'm just kind of making it up as I go along. But seems like it's a pretty well thought out frame, which I would expect from ReadyMadeRC. They seem to make good quality stuff. Okay, so that's that, and so now, yeah, so future me here. I really wish I had filed these down with a file. I had trouble later with battery straps breaking from this top plate, and it's actually the ReadyMadeRC bottom plate for the Screech frame, so you know, you can't blame them. But yeah, I file this down to keep from breaking a bunch of battery straps. If you look, these are nice and smooth. These are kind of notched, so I'm going to put those to the side, so that'll be the front of the craft. And then flight controller wants to go that way. I'm going to separate these two very carefully and slide this guy on here. Hold on, one thing, I want to show you this board. Yeah, so this is the web page of the board I'm using. It's the HGLRC F440 stack. And so yeah, so you can come to this web page, ReadyMadeRC, and make sure that you're looking at this one, and you can get much better pictures about what the heck is going on here. So actually, so just to be clear, right, this is the stack with no VTX. So this board over here is not in use, but there's the flight controller and the ESC stack. So there you go. Alright, well, I kind of wanted this to be the front of the frame, but I don't really think it makes a hill of beans one way or the other. I mean, this thing is an acro frame, and it's going to take force in lots of different directions. Alright, so next up, put these little guys on. Guy goes right in there, like so. I still miss. So, and these guys will go up here like so. Actually, that's good enough. I'm just going to give it a quick. Gives you the idea, and this guy out right in there. That gives you the idea that there should be plenty of spacing there. So that'll be our build, which will be nice. So let's yeah, so next up is to flash the flight controller, and this is the stack that I'm using, the F440, which we talked about before, but you got to know what target you're going to flash to, and yeah, so basically it's the Omnibus F4, right? And so that's what we're looking for, the Omnibus F4, and so that's what you need to know. Okay, so here we are in Butterflight, and the first thing we need to do is go to firmware flasher, and we need to select our targets, right? And so we set as the Omnibus F4. And here you can see the Omnibus F4, and then just grab the latest released target and load it locally. And now you're ready to flash the FC. Yeah, so you just hold down the boot button, and then you do your gymnastics, and you come over and press flash firmware. And I actually sped this part up a bit. And after you flash, you want to make sure that you connect, disconnect, and connect, reconnect to the board to make sure that you can actually connect to the board. Which I will do here. You can see it's changed to dev TTY modem, and I connected to the board. I moved the board, the model moves, and then yeah, so that's really all I wanted to do at this point. Just take a quick peek, and then yeah, let's disconnect of this build series, and the next part of the build series we'll solder up the frame, and yeah, we may do another video with LEDs, and we'll do some configuration of Betaflight, and that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Have fun. Bye.